Hello, Laura. Michael Kurtianik, Macintosh Realtors here for yet another fun, festive, and hopefully informative video together. Laura, who are you and how are you?
Well, I am Laura and I am great.
Good.
Fantastic. Enjoying the holiday season. Laura Fournier with Nations Lending, your intentional confidant in the mortgage industry, helping you understand whether you're ready, how to get ready, when you are ready, helping you through the whole process from beginning to end. So glad to be with you, Michael, on
Yeah,
another
last, last,
exciting
last,
topic.
yeah, it's the last one of the year and pretty excited about it. And didn't know how you wanted to proceed, Laura. So I'll have you kind of kick things off. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, we are going to talk about, I guess, some prognostications for uh 2023. I'm still looking for 2022. This year went by like a freight train, just on full tilt, crazy. But here we are facing almost the new year, and I think it's a good idea just to maybe talk about the industry and rates, where housing is, what we expect. People can take some notes and make comments and get on us next year as we're going through the year to see how our light bulbs were doing.
Well, I think that's good. I don't know what prognostications mean, but I can talk about predictions in real estate. How's that? Let me
I had my dictionary out earlier.
oh good. Yeah, I could tell. Yeah. So let me share a screen here with you. As I'm doing this, if anybody would like to have receive a copy of this report, please like, subscribe, and share this video and put in a request and I'll send it over to you. I'll need your contact information. But today, my real estate coach is Brian Buffini, and every year he comes up with a annual. It comes out twice a year, once in the summer and once in December, of his real estate report. And I thought, Laura, if you don't mind, I want to kind of tell you and share this with you and our viewers just to see how the market, what the real estate market looks like for next year.
No, I think this is a beautiful report, and I'm familiar with Brian Buffini. I highly suggest his coaching for any realtor. Yeah, he's wonderful, fantastic.
Yeah, he's been doing this for over 25 years and he was a realtor himself, broker and everything, and he knows it, he's lived it. So I think I want to begin, Laura, but just sharing with you, and I agree with him on what real estate market looks like in 2023. All real estate is local, yes, but there are some truisms around the country. Inventory is still low all over the country, Laura, which just kind of points to this still being a seller's market. Buyers don't have a lot of homes to choose from, and people are still competing. Sellers are still getting multiple offers. And in the first quarter of 2023, home prices are anticipated to rise 5.4% year over year. So
Yeah.
expect it up 5% from last year to this year.
And 5% is a big jump. That's an X, depending on the sales price, that's it's a nice chunk of change to the seller, but it's also going to increase the payment for the buyers. That's
Right.
why the wait strategy that people are implementing, waiting to see, is not a good strategy. You're just costing yourself more.
I agree. And with interest rates continuing to hover in the sixes, inventory is expected to rise about 23% year over year. How is that manifested? Well, inventory is still low, but there might be fewer buyers. And with that being said, if sellers are still thinking that they can sell their house for any price that they want, they kind of have another thing coming because there aren't as many buyers. The pool of buyers is shallower, which means houses will stay on the market longer. And there'll be more houses for buyers to choose from in the first quarter of 2023.
Mhm. Yes, because with interest rates higher, not as many people qualify. There are some people that have been pushed out of the housing market because they can't afford the prices having gone up and the interest rates having gone up. So they can't afford to purchase.
Yep.
So less buyers.
Yeah. So with this next slide here, Laura, just kind of a historical perspective here. Since 2008, home sales have risen annually through 2022. Lumber prices has been the biggest and most volatile factor in increasing home prices, especially with new homes. You can see on that stat, lumber prices have added over $14,000 to the average price of a single family home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I was talking to a builder, and the lumber prices, even though they came back a little bit, it's still one of their biggest expenses. He was talking about hopefully they would open up the Canadian lumber industry to help bring our prices down, but I don't believe that has been negotiated because they haven't really come back down so much.
Yeah. So we're projecting that in 2023, single family home new builds will rise over 1.2 million. It should actually be closer to 1.5 million in a normal year, but it's an affordability issue. It's not just the lumber, but also copper, PVC, drywall. All of those prices have gone up too, adding to the costs for a builder to build and then passing on those costs to buyers. And with the slowdown in the number of new homes and the shallower pool of buyers, we are expecting that in 2023 especially, new home builders will provide more incentives to buyers to buy their new homes, whether it's buying points down on someone's mortgages, paying the first couple months mortgages, maybe adding a sunroom or finishing a basement. Try and negotiate with the builders to see what they offer, whether it be financial or something with the home.
Right. But I did hear that new home builds and permits are down. So that's exactly right. Maybe you can do a little more negotiating with them, but it's still going to be a lesser new builds overall, keeping that inventory down, which will also contributes to why there's still going to be some price appreciation.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Laura, one thing we've discussed before is when a buyer's thinking about a new home, it's very important to have a realtor represent them in the purchase of a new home from a builder, because people must be clear that the sales agent at the new home site is representing the builder, and they don't represent the buyer. So if a realtor works with a realtor, if a buyer works with a realtor, then they will be able to have full representation, and any commissions are paid by the builder, not by the buyer. So I just want to stress the importance of having a professional on your side representing you on the purchase of a new home build.
Absolutely, because you have that professional helping you write the contract, and a contract is a legal document, and the realtor does that day in and day out throughout the year, so they know what other builders are offering as incentives that you can ask for, so you can often negotiate a better contract by having your professional realtor helping you do that. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't go in there unrepresented, because the agent there is working for the seller.
Yes, that's right.
You're sitting there by yourself if you don't bring your professional realtor with you.
Yep, that's right.
Great point. Yes, absolutely.
One thing we anticipate in 2023 and beyond is that median home prices will continue to rise. Back in 1970, when our parents bought their houses, median home price was 23,000. Back in 2000, before the stock market bubble and everyone put their money in real estate, the median home price was 147,300. 2020, during the initial part of the pandemic, median home prices were over 300,000. And by 2030, it's expected that the median home price will go up and break the $400,000 mark.
Yeah, that's amazing. And think about, you know, this is the reason you want to become a homeowner, is because you're building that equity for yourself.
Yep.
So,
Right.
and prices are going to continue to go up, but as they continue to go up at 5%, which is a normal appreciation, even 2 to 5% is a historical average on appreciation. That's
Yep.
dollars in your pocket, and you have to live, you have to have shelter. So make it your own shelter.
That's right. And in this report, to those of you watching, there are different trends, like up in the Northeast, expecting existing home sales to drop by almost 25% in the Northeast, with median sales prices going up about 8%. And this is like Pennsylvania on up to Maine is considered the Northeast. Inventory is very low, which means that we expect the median sales price to go up. Midwest, existing home sales are projected to drop over 25% in 2023. But the sales price, again, you can see these trends, almost 6% increase in home sales. But the number of sales will go down, but the median price is going up. South, Maryland on South, look at these numbers. Projected existing home sales to drop over 27% year over year, but median sales prices to go up 8%.
And that's because of the inventory shortage.
Yes.
That there's not enough inventory. So
not enough.
When they're doing the year over year sales, this number of sales goes down, but prices are actually going up.
That's exactly right. Very much a seller's market. And finally, out west, existing home sales expected to drop over 37%, and median sales prices go up over 5%. We are still in a seller's market, and home prices we expect to rise. So if you watch the media, they'll tell you that they interpret these numbers as being a housing bubble that's bursting and crashing. But it's not a housing bubble, and it's not a housing crash. Median sales prices throughout the country are expected to rise 3 to 8% in 2023. It's just that the number of homes that are going to be sold are going to be fewer, from around 20, 25, 35% around the country, depending on where you are. So this talk about housing bubble crashes, we don't buy into that at all, because if there was a housing bubble, a housing crash, not only would sales go down, but the median prices would go down. And that we don't anticipate that happening at all. We, in fact, anticipate that median sales prices will rise in 2023.
Yes, and it's because of affordability. As prices go up and the rates are so much higher than they were a year ago, the affordability has gone down. So some people are not in the market to buy because they can't afford to buy. And other people aren't selling because they can't afford, anything other than what they have. And also they might have a super low interest rate and they don't want to give it up. So they're not putting their house on the market, which is keeping inventory low. So there's a multitude of reasons why the number of sales is going down, but it is truly that there's a housing shortage, not a bust or a bubble.
That's exactly right.
Not.
So what do you think we're predicting for interest rates, Laura?
Well, we are seeing, interest rates have climbed a little bit, gotten a little bit worse over the last week or two, but I think as inflation kind of gets tamed with the Federal Reserve having really pushed short-term rates up, we're supposed to see rates pull back in the second half of 2023, maybe even going back into the upper fives. So we would, some rates are in the sevens, you know, lower credit scores or down payment assistance programs are in the sevens now. So I think if we could get into the lower sixes and upper fives, that would be a beautiful thing. We would see a lot of home buyers return to the market if we got into the upper fives. It would bring back some purchasing power. And I believe some experts are calling for that probably mid next year into the end of next year. So
Well,
we will
let's take a look
see if
here.
that happens.
Let's take a look here. Fluctuating mortgage rates have doubled from a year ago. 93% of homeowners currently have a fixed mortgage rate. As of November 2022, the average was 6.84. So you can see the comparisons. Sorry, didn't mean to slide down really quick. You can see the comparisons. 30-year fixed rate. Average mortgage rate 6.84. Your monthly payments $2,059. If you do a 15% fixed mortgage, 15-year fixed rate mortgage, the average mortgage is 6.22%. That brings your payment down to less than $2,300. And then 10-year fixed rate mortgage, 6.35%. Your monthly is over $2,700. So the longer you spread out your mortgage, the less your monthly payment is. And just for these comparisons, Laura, the average down payment was around 17% for each. But not everyone can do 17%. Some can do more, some can do less. But I think this is good visual for buyers to know about the different terms and length of the mortgages. What do you think?
Well, I think a lot of times that 15-year gets way too steep for most people.
Yeah.
You know, so, but the 10-year fixed, which is an adjustable rate mortgage where you are having that first full 10 years be fixed in rate, that we will probably have more discussions about doing some of these adjustable rate mortgages with the fairly long first fixed term, so 7-year or 10-year. I think that could be a good consideration for a lot of buyers. So definitely having some chatter out there. But I'd say still the majority of people are taking fixed rate mortgages, if they can, you know, because then they know it's going to be there. Because I think there was a time when 7 years was a fairly good average of how long most people stayed in their home.
Right.
So I think it's longer now. I think people are staying in their home more in the 9 to 10 year range.
I agree. And what we're seeing, and I'm the realtor, I'm not the lender, but I do know that there are two points I want to make by way of concluding this discussion. One is, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with sellers who are like, Michael, what am I going to do? Sell my house and lose my 3% interest rate so I can buy a house for 6% interest rate? And I tell them, you know, it really comes down to the why. Why do you need to move? In our last episode, we talked about death, divorce, job reload as mitigating factors in why people move. And if they have to move for whatever reason, you know, I tell them this: talk to your lender, but consider buying and refining. You know, look at the adjustable rates, maybe go with 7 years if that's how long you do, and then refi sometime during the course of that loan that you have. So those are the two things I want to say. One with the sellers, and then second, do the buy and refi.
Yeah, absolutely. For current homeowners, it is a big deal to give up those low interest rates
Yep.
to go into something like if you're at 3 or 3.5 and you go to 6.5 or 7, depending on what kind of loan you're getting and your credit score and all those factors. Yeah, it can be a big kind of gulp to really examine that why reason. But there are people that are going to do it because their why is big enough
Right.
and they can afford to, still go after that goal of upsizing or they're moving for a job or those sorts of things. So absolutely it's going to happen, but that is a big factor in why there's not enough inventory to sell, is because people are just staying in their houses much longer than they used to. And part of it is because of the rates haven't gone up. But still, if you're in the mid sixes or even the upper sixes, that's kind of a historic average on interest rates. It's certainly not high. It's just much higher than what we enjoyed for the 12 years the Federal Reserve was artificially keeping mortgage interest rates super low because
Yeah.
of the 2008 crash.
Yeah.
So,
No, you're absolutely right, Laura. And for those viewers who are watching this, if you would like a copy of this report, I'll be happy to send it to you. Just like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll engage with us, and we'll be happy to send you a copy of this report. The crystal ball, it's really tough because we don't know what might happen in 2023 politically, globally, and even nationally. But if things continue the way they are, this was a spirit in which I wanted to share with you today what we expect happening in 2023 in real estate. But please stay in touch with your local realtor, stay in touch with your local lender, and they'll be able to give you the most up-to-date and current trends in real estate and lending. And certainly if you're in Maryland, please talk to us, to Laura and Michael, and we'll be happy to help you out anytime.
absolutely. And I think this also is a great reason for people that do have that um, reason to want to maybe move from renting to owning or move up. It's a good reason to get started and get going now, because there's appreciation that's going to happen that could be yours.
Yep.
If you get started in the process now. So the best time to buy is when you can afford to buy. And if that is now, and we show you the numbers, then go for it and start accumulating equity and price appreciation.
Excellent.
Awesome
Well,
topic. I love it. Good
this is
job.
good. Thank you. And to everyone watching, have a happy new year. May you have a prosperous 2023. Like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you in the new year, everybody.
Absolutely. Happy New Year. And think about getting started in real estate for 2023. We're here to help you out.
Awesome. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.